Okay, so let's go straight into it. Okay, so my questions are divided into, I think, ooh, that's a lot. Yeah, seven.
Okay.
So you go. I hope that we'll be able to complete it by the end of this session. So the first one is the general application process question. And I would ask Precious first. What was the most challenging part of the Erasmus Mundus application program, and how did you tackle it?
I would say it is my personal statements because you have to be able to market yourself, tell your story, make sure that you write a compelling essay all within a limited word count. And so it was a little bit challenging for me. And yeah, it took me about 7, 8 months to write the perfect essay. So I would say it is my personal statement of purpose. And how did I address it? So I kind of organized everything into smaller sessions. So, and then, okay, so this month, this is what I'm going to work on. The next month, this is what I want to work on. So it kind of gave me an idea of what I wanted to do. And then I also sought advice from people that were already in the programs that I was applying for. So that kind of helped me a little, yeah.
Okay, so it's more about organizing, planning, and mentorship, like
Yeah.
getting people who are already in the program to help you with the statement of purpose and the
Yeah,
other
exactly.
things. Um, Rhoda, given you see that with the Erasmus Mundus, there are like a lot of uh, programs under the umbrella Erasmus
Yeah.
Mundus.
Yeah.
How did you navigate through that? And because if you go to the catalog, you can see that like under maybe engineering, they have like a lot of courses under it. How did you try to choose your courses from those catalog? How did you decide even the courses that you want to do?
Actually, for me, I was fortunate enough to have known about my program from my professor back in like my first master's. He spoke to
Mhm.
me about it. So it was kind of like a direct link through which I applied. But I would agree with you on the fact that it's really confusing when you go to like the page, especially to locate your specific program and interest. Like it's a whole lot because I tried helping some people in other fields than mine, and I realized that it was really hectic. I still don't have a hang of that, but for me, it was quite straightforward because I had a direct link and the process was quite straightforward. They needed one, two, three, four, and like you just had to give it to them, and they reached out to tell you they got your documents and they'll proceed with that. So for me, it was quite easy and straightforward. I didn't really have a problem with maybe statements of purpose or something because I was already in a master's, so
Yeah,
I had like an advantage from
advanced.
like the experience I had from writing the first personal statement. So,
Mm.
I just had to use that and adjust certain things because it was still in the same line of the study I was already in. So I would say for me, it was not so much of a hurdle. But when it comes to the visa part, yeah, that was where I struggled a bit because in Ghana, sorry for like other people who are not from Ghana, but like specifically for Ghana, they didn't have like the Belgian embassy. So I needed to travel to another like francophone country which was Ivory Coast to get my visa, and it was really hectic and confusing. I even had to go there the first time. I spent so much money for my flight and nothing came out of it. And so that was the only thing for me. Aside that, everything was like perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I think that before we even go to the general application process, the when I first heard of Erasmus Mundus, I was a bit confused. Like, how does everything go? Like, how is the scholarship scheme like?
Mhm.
Because when we other scholarships, you have to apply to the school, then apply to a scholarship different.
Yeah.
And with the Erasmus Mundus, can you explain how the scholarship works? Is it like if you apply to the program, you get the school and the scholarship automatically, or there are also different scholarships, like scholarship school, or it depends on also the program? Precious, can you touch on that for us?
Okay, so I would say it depends, but I think for most of the programs, it's like that's when you apply for the school, you just state in your essay, or sometimes, depending on the kind of application, there's like a separate document where you have to take that I would like to be considered for financial support. Yeah, and then some programs do not ask you if you want to be considered for scholarship or not, so you just apply to the program. And because there are a lot of schools, you don't apply to like one school, even though you directly apply to the leading consortium, you are applying to all the schools that are involved. So you're not applying to just one school. Do you understand? So it's just like you're applying for a program and then you say, oh, I'd like to be considered for financial support. And then depending on the program again, the admission comes first and then the scholarship follows. Sometimes the scholarship results come first and then the admission follows. Sometimes they both come together. Yeah, so that was my experience.
Okay. And Rhoda, what about you? How was your experience like?
Yeah, so for my experience, I think the scholarship and the program were all together. So if you applied for the program and you got accepted, then automatically you are considered for the scholarship. So it was not like you needed to get admission before you applied for a scholarship separately. It was everything together. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like a guest too, so let me just add something to it. Okay, so for my own, I did advanced material science and engineering, so it's like the engineering part. It's also the same as Rhoda's own. You just apply to the program, and they will accept you. And sometimes they have like a window for scholarship. People who want to apply for scholarship and people who don't want to apply for scholarship. So the scholarship window is maybe 4 months, and the non-scholarship window is like 6 months. So if you apply within that period, then you'll be considered for scholarship. But if you apply outside of that period, then you won't be considered for scholarship. So from us to that's the same thing. If you apply, then just get the scholarship, depending on your qualification and everything. So yeah.
Yeah.
And did you pay application fee for the application process? Did you, in terms of applying to the school, did you pay application fee?
No, I did not. At least not for Erasmus. No.
Yeah, neither did I. I think for Erasmus programs, there's
It's
no.
totally free.
Yeah.
There's no application fee. Okay. So this is like a very lucrative program. No application fee, just apply and just get into it. And yeah. Okay. My next question will be the timelines of the application. How did you feel when you're applying, and how did you like prepare for the application from the start when you had the scholarship to when you got it to, I don't know if you should talk about the visa here, but I know that you have a lot of stories about the visa. So what was the timelines? How long did it take for them to make a decision and everything? Precious?
Okay, so like I would always make reference to it depends, because I think you have to apply to 3 programs at most per admission cycle. So depending on the kind of program, I applied for international law, I applied for public policy, and then global studies. So most of them open in December, and then November, December, and then by January, February, they've closed. So for global studies, it was a little bit late because they opened in January and then they closed around March. So it actually depends. And then what I did to keep the timeline in check was immediately I decided that I was going to apply for this Erasmus program. I made an Excel sheet to keep track of my application. So I had name of course, recommendation, statement of purpose. I set like a date where I need to complete the essay like at you understand. So I like that kind of helped me organize myself and then stay ahead of the timeline. So yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, and Rhoda?
Yeah, I would say just like Precious said, the timelines are almost the same because I remember it was open from November until like maybe February and then it was closed. But for me, what happened was that I had initially applied for Erasmus and like I got the email that okay, we accepted you, but we need your English proficiency. And I had like realized that I needed it at a very late point in time. So I had like maybe 5 days to write the IELTS. So I studied in like 2, 3 days and then I wrote the IELTS. But unfortunately for me, I couldn't get the official results before the deadline. So they were like, oh, we are sorry, we can't do anything about it. So in 2023, I applied again because I already had everything I needed. And I even applied because I was like, this IELTS is going to expire soon. And I wrote it because I needed to use it for Erasmus. So why not just apply now? So that was even what informed my decision to apply. So for me, it was quite straightforward because I had already done so many things the year before. So within 3 days, I had already sent in my application and everything, and it was all good. So yeah.
So it's more about organization,
Yeah,
planning,
exactly.
getting all your documents intact before even the application cycle opens. And I
Exactly.
think, yeah, and I think that for me too, it's the same. It's opened around November and it's closed for scholarship applicants in February and non-scholarship applicants in March, I guess. Yeah. And when did your results come in?
For me, in April, I think mid-April thereabouts, that was where I got the email telling me I had the admission, and then I think after a day, I got another email saying I had the scholarship. So yeah.
Wow. And Precious?
For me, I received one as early as in February. I also received one in March and then one in, I think, May. Yeah, so
Did you
depends.
get into all of them?
Yeah, fortunately.
Wow, wow. And how did you choose from all three of them? Oh my God.
Um, well, it depends. The international law, I didn't get funding because I didn't have French proficiency. They gave me like a timeline to produce, as like Rhoda was saying, I had to go to Alliance Française to write, but I didn't get the timeline right, so I didn't get the funding for the international law. But for public policy, I also didn't go to public policy because I had to go all the way to Austria for the visa. And there was no way. No, all the way
Austria,
to
wait.
Nigeria, sorry, for
You
the
were
Austrian
coming to
visa.
Austria.
Yeah,
Oh, why
for the
didn't
yeah.
you come? I'm here.
I didn't want to go all the way to Nigeria for the visa. It was
Yeah,
so
I
overwhelming.
understand.
So I had to like I chose this one because the
Mhm.
Germany embassy in
Yeah,
Ghana.
it's just close
Yeah,
by
it was
and
quite
it's
straightforward. Yeah.
easy.
So
Yeah, that's good to know. Wow. You should have gone to Nigeria. I know that it's stressful,
so
but
overwhelming.
but hey, I'm here. I would
I
have
didn't
welcomed
know.
you nicely. I'm hurt. Oh my. So let's go to the program and university selection. Okay. So what factors should applicants consider? I think we've already discussed it when choosing an Erasmus program that aligns with their career goals.
So like as you listen to the programs that I mentioned, you see they all run along a specific line, international relations. So that's the kind of career I want to do. So that's why I
Yeah.
targeted those programs. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I would say. Just choose or look for programs that you want to like maybe you want to have like a career around it so that you
Around
can
it.
easily
Yeah.
transition into.
into their
I think
career.
you should also consider choosing programs that you have a very strong background in. Because I remember when I applied for Erasmus, I think the main reason I got it was because they were interested in what I had done in my previous masters. Because writing your personal statement is all about selling yourself and putting yourself on like a high pedestal. So I was telling them about how I did this in my masters and all that. And they were like, okay, if you did this in your masters, then prove to us by sending us your master's certificate and all that. Imagine I didn't have anything to back what I was saying. I had an experience in, then it means I would have lost the opportunity. So you should consider something you really have a strong background in, because it will give you more points and push you there to get what you want. Simply,
yeah. That's a very great point there, because when you're applying, a lot of people are also applying to the same scholarship. So you have to try and get a upper hand. So if you choose a course that you really don't know anything about, and you really don't know anything about it, it might really bring your points down. So it's very important that you choose a course or a program that you have a good grip on. Okay. So how important is it to research the universities and countries involved in the program before applying? Like when I'm applying, I just, this program is very nice, so let me just apply, or I have to research a lot to see what they do and how it will help with my application. How is it so important? Why is it important?
I can go first with that.
Okay,
for me, I was very interested in being in Wageningen University and research. I don't know if you guys know about it, but like it's the best university in the whole world for agriculture. And I had already told you I had a BSc in agriculture. So like everything around my career was in that line. So I researched, because Erasmus Mundus is all about moving from one country to another and learning. So I really researched about the countries where I would have the opportunity to go and what I would benefit from that. And moreover, I had, read so many articles, and great scientists were like in these universities. And I was like, I definitely want to learn under these people. I definitely want to acquire something from them. So I think mainly if you are considering a university or what you want to do, exactly like Precious said, your career goals should be your priority, what you want to achieve and how you want to achieve it. You should consider all that, because I needed to get to Wageningen University and I needed to get there because of what I wanted. So I definitely chose that track. So depending on you as an individual, what you want for your career and what you want to achieve as a goal, then make your research in that domain and then find what you want and just go for it. Yeah.
Thank you. Precious, do you have anything to add?
Oh, I think she's pretty much said it all, but yeah, it's basically about, for me, my career is very important for me. That is like one of the most important factors that I thought of when I was applying for the schools and the countries involved. So I looked at countries that I can easily transition into the world of work. Most of these European countries, you would have to kind of know their language before you literally survive. And so I kept that in mind where I want to complete my school, so that I can easily be able to integrate and then work. Yeah. So that's basically.
If I can just add, you should also consider the how do I put it, the economic whatever of the country you are going to. Because imagine you're in an Erasmus program where you are paid 1,000 euros a month and your rent is 700 euros.
Exactly.
Oh my God, yeah.
And you have to eat from this, and probably your parents or your people back home are looking up to you to, toss them out, then it means you're in a very tight corner. In this case, you cannot even have a clear mind to study and, make the grades you're supposed to make.
Yes, it's true.
In as much as it is nice to, I want to go to Germany, I want to go here, you should also consider all that, because most of the time when we tell people back home who are trying so hard to like school abroad about how it is, they feel like, you don't want me to come or something, but like we know the reality on ground, and it's really not easy. Because I remember I found a room where they were like 800 euros a month and 8,000 euros. So like, what am I left with at the end of the day? So I feel like you must really consider all these things, in as much as you're in Ghana or home and you feel like, I just need to be out there, but like, it's really not as easy as you see it. So
yeah,
that's as well.
That is
true. Okay. Wow, that's very true too, because if let's say, I think when I went to Spain, Barcelona is a very like touristic city, so the rent is very high, and there was like accommodation close to the campus, and they said a month is 1,000 euros. Imagine.
Exactly.
How can I eat?
Exactly.
So I had to get accommodation like very far from the university, and every day I had to take like train for like 1 hour before I could get to the university. So you have to consider all these factors.
Exactly.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should go to the documentation side, because that's very, very key in the application process. So what are the key eligibility criteria, like when you're applying to Erasmus? Precious, can you start with that?
Okay. I think the background is very important. I'm not saying that you cannot transition, like maybe if you are in business and then you want to go into IR, maybe you would have to like justify in your essay, like give a very strong justification on why you think the switch is very important and how it can help your career. But aside that, I think the background is very, very important. Like maybe like I have a background in political science. I have worked in research in international affairs. So I think that was, I'm not saying, but I'm very confident that that was why I was accepted. I have a strong background in the program that I'm doing. I also think that work experience really, really counts, because as I came here, I also noted that most of my colleagues have worked in, like with the UN, NGOs, and like organizations like that. I also think that good grades is very important. Like, good grades is very important. Academic achievements is very important, and then proficiency too in English. But personally, I didn't really have any problem with proficiency because I simply had to go to the language center at the University of Ghana to get the certificate. So I didn't have to write any exams or whatsoever.
Wow.
That's nice for you.
And with the language thing, I quite remember I was mentoring someone into the Erasmus program, and he had it, and they asked him to bring, is it IELTS?
IELTS, yeah.
Yeah, and I told him that he should just send them an email that he learns in English and he has like English proficiency, like he should submit it. So he sent them an email and explained everything, and he got into it. So I think that sometimes when you're lucky and you explain it to them, they will understand. But other admission board too, they will just be strict that, I want the IELTS here. So I think it depends. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even aside the Erasmus, most of the other programs that I applied to, you just like if you had your degree or your secondary school where you were fully taught in English, you can just submit like your secondary school. I remember I applied to the University of Lincoln in the UK, and I had to send my WASI certificate, just that as my English proficiency proof. So I think coming from Ghana, that's like a plus for us.
Yeah. Rhoda, do you have more to add with respect to the criteria, or even with the language aspects too? You can.
With the language, I think in as much as you could be lucky and waived the proficiency or something, you should also like already prepare yourself, because in my case I had already written the IELTS and I gave them the provisional results, but they were like, no, we need like the official results. So sometimes you can't be always lucky. So
Lucky, yeah.
the best thing to do is just to prepare yourself and have it written so that you're on the safe side.
Yeah.
Also with the documentation, I think recommendation letters are another thing that is like the headache of so many people. So for me, what I always advise people is that in your undergraduate program, try to be, nice to your lecturers.
Lecture.
True. It's very true.
Do without it. Now it's at least 3 recommendation letters, and it has to be academic because you are going into an academic program. So in your undergraduate programs, try and establish a rapport with 2 or 3 of your lecturers. Like, be nice when you're coming to buy them something, because I have a professor who might take recommendation letters from all the time, and he says, oh, I still remember the citation you gave me. See, so like that's something I've established, and there's no way he can say no to me, because I've seen so many people lose out on great opportunities because they never had recommendation from anyone. And I really don't know what this recommendation does for these application boards, but like it's a big deal. Like, you really need to give them a recommendation, because that's the only way they can kind of trust that, okay, we are going to work with a good student, or we can rely on these students. So that's another important thing. If you are still in your undergraduate program, take this from me. Establish all with your lecturers, like no matter what it takes, just try and be in touch, because that's the only way out. You can't go for the recommendation from somebody who did not lecture you or teach you. So yeah,
it's true. Also about the recommendation, I'd also like to add that you can also get recommendation from your professional from a professional side. So like if you have some sort of work experience, or if you did an internship, you can ask your boss or your previous bosses, because that's worked for me.
Nice. Yeah.
Those recommendations. So it was like a mix of academic and professional.
Yeah. Well, I'm still a guest. For me, I went because I did my national service as a teaching assistant. It was for me to, get recommendation letter from my lecturers. So yeah, it's very important. Recommendation letter is very important.
Yeah.
And I think another criteria is your personal statement. Can you talk a little bit about the personal statement or statement of purpose?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I actually have a few things that I have written down that I'd like to say, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's very fine.
So I have a few tips that I would like to share on the recommendation letter. The first one is providing an introduction and summarizing your personal, academic, and professional background. So like I think your introductory statement should kind of tell us who you are or where you are coming from. Don't just say, oh, hello, my name is A, B, and C, and I'm applying for this program. Mind you, there are like thousands of applications, and they may not be able to get the time to read through your 2 or 3 page essay. So I think your introductory statement should be able to sell yourself at least in the list. And then the second one is don't list random experiences without using the STAR method. So okay, you did this, you worked here, you were able to do this. So what, be able to provide context. So the STAR method really helped me. You know Regina, she said she knows you, she was talking about.
Yeah, wait.
Regina,
Regina. Yeah, I know her. Yeah.
So she taught me about this STAR method, and even till now, I think it's okay. Someone is asking what is STAR. Okay, so The S stands for situation. So let's assume that okay, let me use my example. So in my essay, I talked about how I did an internship at the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA Ghana, and then how I was able to advocate against domestic violence. So this is the situation. Like I saw that a lot of women were coming to us to seek legal advice and legal assistance because their husbands used to abuse them and they didn't have any financial support to like maybe leave their marriage. Or so this was the situation that I saw that I wanted to do something about. And then the T is the task. What are you going to do about it? So okay, I'm going to I'm going to work with my team to liaise with DOVSU, to educate people. So like this is what I was able to write down. And then the A is for action. What exactly did you do? Okay, we went around the community, educating women about their rights, because a lot of women have themselves, like they've not informed themselves about their right. They don't know what they can be able to do. Like maybe if your husband is beating you, you can report to those. So they didn't know that, so they just stayed in the marriage because they were scared that if they don't, like if they leave, they will not be able to be supported or anything. And then the R is the results. Like at the end of whatever you did, what was the outcome? So at the end of our advocacy or at the end of the campaign, we can see that a significant amount of domestic violence cases were reduced. And then also quantify your results. Don't say that, oh, some women, like women were not beaten again. You can say that, oh, at the end of the year, the report that they were able to bring, maybe 20% of domestic violence cases were reduced, or about 15 people did this, about 20 people did this. So that is the star. And then I also think that maybe don't be generic, like I'm applying for global studies. We all know you're applying for global studies. Like don't use one essay that you use for all your applications to apply for all your scholarships. I think it's a very, very grievous mistake. You have to be able to research, like go into the website, look for so my program like this, there's a year abroad, there's an internship, so I talked about how this internship is going to help my career, how my year abroad is going to help me get an international experience. Mind you, if I had not gone into the program's website, I wouldn't have had this information. Also talk about professors. I have noted that Professor A, B, and C in this faculty, in this track, works on international security, and that is my area of interest. This professor has made publications about gender. That is what I want to work on. And so I am hoping that when I get into the program, I want to work with this professor for my thesis. So they know that, yeah, this person has an idea of what they are bringing to the table. Okay, and then there's this problem about people. I mean, we know that like we all want the scholarship, but some people base their entire applications about how they come from a poor family and how they need their money. Mind you, Erasmus Mundus is not need-based, it is merit-based. Like you don't have to be poor to get the scholarship. So maybe instead of talking about how your family is poor throughout your essay, you can talk about how you were able to change your circumstances despite how like where you came from. I think that's like a very important point. And then yeah, that's basically it. Just make sure that you do enough research so that they know that like you know what you are talking about. You have done enough research, and also talk about your experiences. Like don't be shy. I mean, we are doing all of this whilst keeping the word counts in mind. So you should be able to learn how to write your essay like whilst being in the word. So like maybe don't give too much details, but be able to write, like talk about your experiences. I talked about how I got my scholarship, how the scholarship helped me, the project I was able to use my first scholarship for. I talked about how I was general secretary for my department, the project that I was able to do from that opportunity. Like even if it's like one line, like write it, because they are going to know that this person, like there are so many people that are applying for the program. Someone has like Rhoda like this, she has her first master's. You that you're coming from Ghana.
Imagine.
Don't have any. Most of my mates have 2 masters, 3 masters. I'm like literally the youngest person in class. So imagine if I had not written about all of these things, I'm sure I wouldn't have been picked. So I think there should be so much research that should go into the writing of the essay. Yeah, so that's what I can say about. Yeah.
Rhoda, can I get the science aspect or the agriculture? Yeah, the science aspect. Then I'll bring the engineering aspect into it. So
Yeah, I think Precious pretty much said everything I wanted to, contribute to. Like, selling yourself is the most important thing. Just see it as you are in a competition with thousands of people. And out of these thousands of people, maybe just 20 or 30 are going to be selected for
Yeah.
that particular program. So sell yourself every positive thing you've done. Find a way to chip it in, like she said. It's all about how good you are. Because we want to select people for a program. We are not looking for people that have maybe less experience or have not worked much so sell yourself as much as you want, also while keeping the word counts in mind, because otherwise you would have written things in yeah, and most of the time to some personal statements, they literally give you a guideline of things they want you to write, things they want you to see. Most of the time people get confused because they're asking of this. I have no idea what is this, but there's always a way around. I applied to so many programs and I've encountered so many guidelines and I'm like, I have no idea, but at the end of the day I always figure it out. Every good thing you've done, try to find a way to marketing it in such a way that you answer their question or you answer their guidelines. So that's a little I have to say. And Precious already made justice to
mentioned everything.
that's literally a top-notch something. So you should really consider all those things.
Yeah, and also don't use ChatGPT or AI,
Of
please.
course.
It's your story. Write it
So
yourself.
I even forgot to say it. I've been reviewing some SOPs and you can see this is AI generated. It's so embarrassing. I mean, I'm not saying the use of AI is wrong. You can use AI to get an idea of what you want to write, but don't copy and paste. Because imagine even me, I'm able to tell how much more the professors that have been working on these things for years. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
So
they will know that. Please don't use AI.
Yeah.
Don't use AI.
My advice is, even if you use AI, try to reframe it in your own simple
Don't copy and paste.
Yeah, because sometimes you need the help of AI to broaden your
Exactly. Yeah.
After you get what you want, just try to write it like it's yours. Yeah, or use AI.
Jordan says thank you, Miss Rhoda.
But we are smart about how we use it. So you use AI, but after you get whatever AI gives you, try and write it in your own simple language and understanding, like the way you would have spoken to somebody about yourself. So
yeah.
we are not saying don't use AI.
Me, I'm standing on 10 toes. Don't use AI. Just try and adjust it. Okay.
Yeah.
I think from the engineering aspect, I did advanced material science and engineering. And when I was writing my statement, you see, when you do a lot of things, there's a tendency for you to put everything in the statement of purpose. So I think that you should look at maybe for Precious, she did political science and it was maybe related to international studies. Sorry, Precious, what program are you doing?
I'm doing global studies, so it's just international.
Yeah, it's related to it. And maybe what you did in that field, maybe you did something particular in doing your studies that is related to that field. So you should make that thing your theme of your personal statement. For example, for me, maybe in my undergraduate, I did a lot of projects, but because I want to do material science and engineering, I don't have to say, or maybe the volunteering something that I volunteered somewhere, I can't like add it to it because the central theme should be like, oh, maybe it's plastic engineering because I'm doing plastic engineering. So the central theme should be around what the program wants to like, what the program wants from you. So don't be all around the place when you're writing your personal statements. And it
Yeah.
should also be coherent, and also you are telling a story. It should flow. It should flow naturally.
Yeah.
Don't be all around the place. So just tell your story. Flow from past to present to future. And also one thing I did was to add the cultural aspects of like why I want to study in Europe, like, or I want to get maybe experience the culture or the language, like just add flow and also make sure that they know that you are willing to, let's say, integrate or ask, like learn from their culture and appreciate their culture too. So that's like something I just wanted to add. Yeah. And okay, I think we've talked about the documentation aspect. We've massacred that part, like everything. So let's go to the scholarship itself. What is the package? The package. I want the package. How much is it? Like, how much do you get every month? And is it that when you get into the program, you have to do a certain ECTS before you can get the scholarship, or immediately you get into the scholarship, you get the scholarship, you get the funding, full funding, how much is it? And yeah, just the money aspect. Rhoda, can you do
Yeah.
justice to it?
So specifically for my program, you get a stipend of 1,000 euros every month, which includes your accommodation, your feeding, and everything. So like the 1,000 is for, okay, take this, take care of yourself. Like you're in charge of your life. And there's travel allowance, which we get twice. We get twice in overall for the program because it's a 2-year program. So for the first year, you get 4,000 euros for your travel allowance because they know Erasmus like really demands that you move from one country to another, and like fluctuation in bills and all that. So that 4,000 euro covers all those costs, and yeah, that's basically it. Nothing more, nothing less. So 1,000 euros every month for 2 years. That's like 48, no,
Yeah,
24,000,
24,000
and
euros
then 8,000 euros for your travel allowance.
travel allowance.
So we are looking at 32,000 euros for like the whole program.
Mm-hmm.
School fees and other stuff is being taken care of, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
Okay. I think that I don't know if the increment was with you guys, because for me it was 3,000 euros per year. Maybe it's because of the distance too, because they also calculate the distance of your home country to
Exactly.
the yeah.
So, for instance, I think most people that come from Africa and Asia have like more money compared to people from Europe, because there are definitely some people who are selected from Europe.
From Europe, yeah.
And it's not because I'm poor or something, it's merit. So they don't consider only poor people or people that can't pay for their fees. Like anybody at all that qualifies is eligible to get the scholarship. So there are people from Europe and all these countries. So depending on the proximity of your country to like your starting country, in my case Belgium, they calculate it based on that and then give you that for your travel allowance. Yeah.
Okay. Precious, I want to ask a bit more personal financial question. Thousand or so, like, is it okay for like your expenses for the month?
Well, I don't get 1,000. It's
Oh,
actually
okay.
2,400.
Wow.
Yeah, they've yeah, I
Yeah,
think
but
that
we do not get the travel allowance. It's just
yeah,
like
ah,
so So yeah, but then just like she said, school fees, health insurance, every other little thing is you don't have to pay. But then they give you 1,400 from the start to the end, nothing else, just like
Nothing else. Okay.
and it's more
Um,
than enough. I'm able to
mhm.
save and
Yeah.
yeah, it's more than enough.
I mean, it
Okay.
boils down to you as an individual.
Exactly. And your spending habits.
Mm-hmm.
And you always
Yeah.
know, feel like a big boy or a big girl, then you are definitely going to be waiting at the end of the stipend. But if you are able to manage it well, then you are fine. And also sometimes there are circumstances beyond your control. For instance, like you get a room or an accommodation which takes like almost more than half of your money, then like there's nothing to write home about that. So
I think
it
someone asked if we can
We
work.
can
Oh
work.
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
can work as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But it's also dependent on the country in which,
Country.
Mm.
Yeah.
because for instance, in my case in the Netherlands, I'm not allowed to work.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
why? Is
I,
it like the law that
yeah,
students can't work?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Oh,
not all students, other students can work, but because my program initially began from Belgium, it means I'm originally affiliated to
To
Belgium.
Belgium.
So
Ah, okay.
I have my work hours, I'm able to work or I can do anything. But unfortunately, I wasn't even able to work in Belgium because it was too much school work and all
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, so the academic work is
that.
just demanding. It's so demanding.
They load you with so much
Yeah.
academic work, you don't have the opportunity to even,
Exactly.
you are tough and you are trying to like juggle the two together,
Mm-hmm.
and you should be fine. But in the Netherlands, I'm not allowed to work because they don't want to take care of like students from
Students, yeah.
coming into their country to work here. But
Okay.
if you get an organization or a company that is willing to sponsor your work visa, then you'll be able to work. So
Okay.
everything is just dependent on every country you move to and their policy
Mm-hmm.
for students and foreigners and all that.
Mm.
So we
Yeah.
really say so much about this because your experience might totally be different because you probably will find yourself in Poland or Slovenia, Slovakia,
Yeah.
a different altogether. Yeah.
Okay. I think I will add a bit of thing to it because for me, I was able to work here. I think the students are able to work 20 hours
But yeah,
uh, per
we
week. Yeah, 20 hours per week. And here, the university is a technical university. So they want like, and there are no, we don't have a lot of students here. So the labs want like, they most of the times look for like student workers to work there. So I was working for 8 hours a week and I was getting like some side. Yeah, and I was at the university and I was having some experience too because it was in my field. So in Austria, I think you are allowed to work for students. So
nice.
yeah, yeah. Uh, hmm. Wow. Maybe we should go to the questions and answer session because we've covered a lot.
Mm.
We've covered a lot, a lot. Okay, let me just ask this. What is one thing you wish you had known before starting your Erasmus Mundus application? Precious.
Okay, Precious, go ahead.
Um, well, me, I actually started early. I started very early, so I wouldn't say I wish I had known it. I think my only regrets are not knowing French because I really wanted to do the international law. So maybe if I had known earlier, I would have
Oh,
done the French.
French.
Yeah.
Oh, language, yeah.
So just to put this across, if you want to do a program that you have to go to Belgium, please take French lessons and take the exam at Alliance France because they won't let you in. Like it's so sad.
It's,
Just French exam.
yeah. The language thing is very, very important
Mm.
because for me, in Spain, I was we were required to do, I think, one course in Spanish, and it's a technical course. Like imagine learning an engineering course in Spanish. So it was, well, for me, it wasn't really challenging because I was learning a bit of Spanish here in Austria, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, Spain was difficult. Then with our application process, they didn't really require you to know the second language, like know it very well. You just had to be willing to learn the language, then you get into the program. But yeah, I think when you get the opportunity to learn a new language, especially French, you should take it serious. I wish I had also known like that I would need foreign languages in my future. Like I would have learned French when I had the opportunity. When our French teacher comes to class and we just be like, they are very wicked, and no, I don't want to
Oh.
learn. I wish I had taken French serious, but hey, it's never too late to. So
Yeah.
yeah. Rhoda, anything that you wish you had known that like
For me, for the application process, nothing really, but that would be after the application when I got selected. I regret not paying attention to details.
oh,
I had to go to Ivory Coast to get my visa. And because I was already coming from a first scholarship program, I thought it was all like the same. Once you get the scholarship, because in Korea, they literally sorted my accommodation and everything. But with Erasmus, you are for yourself. Nobody is going to help you find a.
For himself.
I thought it was going to be the same. Oh, they come pick me from the airport. They send me.
You're on your own.
That's what I thought it was. But it was totally different. And because of that, I missed so many deadlines. So I couldn't even get in the university accommodation. I had to be in another city and I had to travel. And I had a cost of 200 euros extra because I had to be commuting by train every day to school. So I can't even emphasize enough. Like, please, after you get selected, read like everything they send to you. It might look so bulky and a lot, and you might think, oh, I have the important things in check and I have it all figured out. But no, please read everything. That's because I believe you guys are going to get scholarships and
Yeah.
when it happens, please pay attention to details and read every email they send you, because in Europe and with all these programs, everything is based on timeline. By the time you realize you have to be doing something else, by the time you realize this is past, and it just makes your life stressful if you have to keep going back to ask to like be extended for something. So please pay attention to details. Like read as much as you can, like, and get to know all the things you have to do so you don't find yourself like in situations like I did. Yeah.
And I would also like to add, like, check your spam regularly. For some reason, some very important emails come and then they don't show in the. I almost missed the scholarship because it came in my spam, and then when it comes, there's like a time frame where you have to accept.
Yeah.
Oh, Mukra, I didn't know.
Wow.
And then so they had to send several emails to follow up to see if I wanted a scholar, because they were going to give it to someone else. There were like thousands of us and only 21 people got selected. So I was just there and I was like, let me check my spam, because they said the time that they were supposed to make the announcements had come. I kept checking my email. There's no announcement. And then I checked my spam and there are several emails from them asking if I won the scholarship. So if it had not been for the grace of God, so check your spam every time. Check your spam if you're expecting. Yeah, I mean.
Ibrahim, we would answer your questions after we are done with the conversations, and we will answer your questions. Okay. And for me, I think that I I wish I had known that the Austrian embassy was not in Ghana but in Nigeria. Oh my God, I went through hell just to get a visa to Austria. And when you get into Austria too, you have to apply for the residence permit.
Permits, yeah.
I wish I had known, but hey, so I think that when you apply it, it's very important to know where the embassies are because
Exactly.
not all European countries have their embassies in Ghana because some of them there are not a lot of people from Ghana going into that country, so they rather have like one embassy
Consulates.
so consulate or embassy. So you should research on the country you're going to and know where their embassies are and know whether you want to go through all that stress to get a scholarship because it also entails a lot of money, like
Yeah.
traveling from one country to the other and the stress and everything. It's really not easy. So I wish I had known that Australian embassy was not in Ghana.
I mean, I gave up. Why?
Oh, we
I
are
didn't
really give
want
up.
to go I didn't want to go through there, so I just gave up. I said no, I'm not
Oh.
Nigeria.
Okay, so let's answer the questions in the comment sections. Hey, we've spent a lot of time. Okay, Prince, you can go ahead, Prince.
All right, hello everyone.
Hi.
So thank you so much for the insightful tips and all that you gave us. And also thanks to Precious, she's been helping me a lot. With regards to those of us who are doing a lot, I mean, if I should start mentioning the things I did during my undergrad, I'm not sure the 500 word will be enough. But I want to ask if they if they consider CVs, if CV also play a very important part in terms of
Yeah.
your application.
Yeah,
Because
CV
I feel
is
like
very
that's why most of
important.
the things can be kept if the word count will not allow you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
and also for currently I'm applying to the public policy study track, but I want to know if it's possible to also apply to the global studies like Precious mentioned, and if the deadline is still okay for me to do that and still submit my application early. Thank you.
Okay, so Prince, every application cycle, you can apply to three, I think.
Yeah. 3, yes, it's
Yeah,
3.
three courses. Yeah, so I applied to three. I applied to global studies, public policy, and international law. And then I'm not sure about this year, but then for public policy, I'm sure they are open now. They'll close in February. And then global studies opens in January and they'll close in March, I think. So for international law this year, they're not doing international law. I don't know why. So, and then the word count, yeah, I think the CV is very important. So that if you're unable to tell, like market yourself in your essay, at least your CV is also there to, support your essay. And then I would always recommend to use the Europass CV, even though some programs they're not strict about it, but I used it throughout my application. So yeah.
Yeah, the CV is very important. Thank you, Prince, for mentioning it. And also the Europass, for my program, they requested that I use the Europass CV. It's very, very simple and easy, and they have their own template. So the CV is very, very important too. Okay. I think we will just do the question and answer session because we've spent a lot of time like having the tea on Erasmus Mundus. So yeah. So Ibrahim is asking, is having a research background mandatory for getting an Erasmus scholarship? I think it's for science related. So Rhoda, can you take over?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important for getting the program because I remember talking about in my personal statements, I remember talking about the fact that I've worked on this, I've experimented on this, and I'm looking forward to improve on it while I'm in this program. So in a case where you don't have a research background, like what are you coming to do specifically, especially in science related courses, like for instance in animal health or like human health, or all those kind of things. Those things are things that you literally have to do research to be able to proceed. So you definitely need a research background. But maybe if it were like all this economics or even that, you still need some research. But maybe languages or something like that, then you probably don't need so much research. But with the science related courses, I mean, it's nobody is going to like put a gun to your head that you should get a research, but
Yeah.
it's going to help you yourself in the process of your application. So yeah.
Yeah, that's very,
Okay,
very
so also
important.
speaking from
Yeah.
a social sciences background, I also think that research is important
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, you're going to write a thesis.
Yeah.
So if you don't
Yeah.
have a background in research, you will struggle a lot. So yeah, I think research is important. Yeah, you should at least
Yeah.
have some know how to do your literature reviews and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. From engineering part, I think research is also very, very important. I think all the fields,
Yeah.
research is important in getting it. Because if you don't research, what are you going to write in your statement of purpose? What did you do? Like, so it's very, very important too. Next question. Mo Salam is asking, says, hello guys, great discussion so far. I have a suggestion. Can you please show how the application portal works? Probably open a screen and share for the viewers to see and say, okay, I can do that. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's you just press Erasmus Mundus catalog. Okay, I can see it here. So you go to Erasmus Mundus catalog, then so most of the times you have to go to the programs. You have to go to the programs. What's it called? Web page. So this catalog will help you to find the program that you want. Where's the catalog? It's like I can't find the catalog.
Okay, I can do it from my end.
Okay.
Okay, can you
Yeah.
see my screen? Okay, so here's the catalog. So this is how I would do it. I would just go straight to the field of study because I find that if you type the keywords, you may not find the courses that you want to do, or even the country, because there are different countries, duration and credits, it depends, universities also depend. So I would go straight to the field of study, and maybe I want to do something on law, political science, and then social sciences. So I would select all of that close and then search on it. And then, so the courses just come like that. And then maybe you want to do global, you just tap on oh, sorry. Yeah. So it just comes. So here's the website. You can apply from the website. I think for this program, they open in January. So there's no link, or even though you can read about it and get all your information, like admission and selection criteria, the requirements, academic background, and everything. I think when it's time to apply, there's something on the website that allows you to go directly to the application portal. So every program in the website, so let's try another program. Maybe you want to do smart cities and communities. So this is their website too. If it is open and then you navigate the website, you see, I'm sure it's open now. So over here, the application form, there's a link in the website where you can fill in. So I hope that's clear. I think it's pretty simple. You just go to the
catalog.
Type the field of study. Maybe if you want to go into IT, there's IT there. If you want to go into agriculture, there's agriculture there. If you tap on it, all the programs under agriculture will come. And then Yeah, so that's pretty much everything. I don't know if you have something else to.
Yeah, I think it's very simple and easy. Like you just go to Google, Erasmus Mundus catalog, then search for your program. Rhoda, do you want to add anything?
Oh, I think that's just it. You guys like just explained it well. Yeah.
Okay. So Buafwa. How difficult or easy is it to speak the language in the country you are currently in? Precious.
Um, for German is some way, if you guys know. German is a little bit too much. But yeah, I think I'm doing quite well because I have started learning, so I'm able to survive at least.
Rhoda?
For me, I'm not doing because I mean I'm not invested in learning because I don't see Europe to be like my final destination for
Destination.
my career path. So I don't really want to invest so much in that.
Yeah.
When I was
Okay.
back in Korea, I could speak Korean language a bit and I was doing fine. Even now, I'm not using it. So I'm like, I don't want to, invest
Worry yourself.
in, yeah, I might not like.
Yeah.
But most
Yeah.
definitely, their program, when you move to Europe, depending on the country, there are sometimes free programs organized by the universities.
Yeah, like my university.
Yeah, to give you an opportunity to at least study or learn the basis for the languages. So I think you'll be fine if you are really, optimistic and interested in really getting to speak the language. You can, because when I was in South Korea, I could speak because I was interested. But now I'm not really interested. So
Over you.
yeah. So if you come to Europe, depending on the country you find yourself, once you have an interest and you are determined, I think it's going to be fine. You don't have to worry so much about that. Yeah.
Well, I think from my end, my program required that you have to learn a language, a foreign language, before you can graduate. So it was like very, how do I put it? What's the word? Obligatory for you to learn a
Okay.
new
So
language.
now,
I learned Spanish, so I know Spanish, and
uh,
now I'm learning German because where I'm doing my PhD is Austria, so I need like the German language. So yeah, I'm also learning German, but I can speak Spanish too. And I love languages, so yeah, it's a win-win for me.
yeah.
Okay, someone is asking. Oh, we've addressed it. Hello, ladies. Please, would there be any chance of being helped by any of you with our scholarship essays? Ah, okay. Precious and Rhoda, I'm trying this question.
Honestly, I think you guys are fine based on what Precious explained. If you
Yeah.
follow exactly what she explained, because that was what we all used in like we are here now. If you follow exactly what we explained to you about writing a personal statement, you should be fine. However, I mean, we are open to, looking at,
True.
even though I'm in a very tight corner right now,
Me too.
easiest to do. I can spare like,
Yeah.
time to look at it. So maybe I'll put my email out there after so you can just,
Yeah. Me
yeah.
too. I can help because I also did Erasmus Mundus and I've been also reviewing. I'm sure you and Precious have also been reviewing
Yeah,
essays
for
for
me, if I'm being honest, I think no, I can, but if they're looking
yeah,
for like a quick feedback, because I have so much
yeah, it's
like yeah,
yeah,
so maybe I could be able to help, but not like anytime soon. Maybe somewhere.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that yes, we can help. However, it may not be as Precious said, it may not be that quick because Rhoda has her thesis in January. Precious is also very busy, and I just started with my PhD, so it's very hectic for me too. But we can help if we get the time. So
Yeah.
I will drop my email. Then
I'll also
maybe.
drop my email.
Okay, sure. Okay. So we can help. And for those of you who joined, I think it's like a bonus for you if you want to, but 32 people there. And okay, this is a question to me. Oh, Miss Anna, when will there be other educators? Oh, okay. We are working on it because sometimes maybe next month, yeah, US UK university scholarships. I'm working on it with my team because I also have we have a calendar that we do like different scholarships in different months or different seasons. So yeah, we would get people on board for US UK university scholarships. So don't worry. It's still in the oven, it's cooking. We are cooking something. Ella is asking, hello, please, do you have to apply for the scholarship differently and to the school too differently? Okay, I think we've already discussed it. You don't have to apply most of the times, you don't have to apply to the scholarship and to the school differently. When you apply to the scholarship, because it's different, like the scholarship, it's not only one university that you go to, you have to go to different universities depending on their program. So you don't have to apply to the scholarship and to the school differently. Okay. Okay. Hello, ladies. Is it perhaps harder to land a scholarship as a combined major graduate? I don't understand, but I think Precious will understand because I think this is more into humanities.
Well, I don't think it matters, but yeah, maybe you have a little advantage over someone that just did a single major because now you have two majors, so you can have a variety of programs to like apply to. Me, that I did a major in political science and I minored in philosophy. I can't use my minor to apply for programs in philosophy. But you that you did a combined major, you can apply for like two different areas. I don't know if I'm making sense. So maybe you have a little advantage, but it doesn't really like hold any much volume like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it says, I didn't have to do intensive research work in my final year as a result, so I need little clarity on that. Sarah, can you kindly like clarify your question when you say like you didn't do intensive research work? How intensive is intensive with regards to your grading? Like, how do you see intensive as intensive? Sarah, if you are here, can you kindly unmute your microphone and try and explain the question well so we understand it? Sarah, yeah.
All right, so good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so we didn't have to do both. I did political science and information studies, right? So and I didn't have to do a final year project or anything like that for either course because I was reading a combined major. Yeah, exactly. So it was just basically course slides and regular mid-semester tests, and then there was the final exam, and then I finished school. So I didn't have to do any project. Exactly. So I'm not sure exactly because of the personal statements thing. I'm not sure what I'll have to factor in that with respect to
I'm coming from the same background. So did you complete the University of Ghana?
I did.
Okay, so you know political science at a point you were asked to write a research proposal. Did you write that?
Yeah, that was in level 300, yes.
Yeah, so that's basically where I'm coming from too. But for me, I did a little research during my national service, so that is also where I got my research skills from. I also didn't write any long essay or project. So,
Yeah.
but like it's not like set in stone that you have to have some sort of research work done before you can be accepted. I didn't do any long essay, but I was also accepted. I'm just saying that maybe within this time you can learn how to do research, like learn, like maybe write a few more research works, or maybe build on your proposal that you wrote in level 300. Maybe get someone to, like, maybe like if you are free with any lecturer, get any of them to look at it for you. I don't know if that is feasible with you, because that is what I would do if I didn't work as a research assistant.
All right, I understand. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
You're welcome. So you don't have to like intentional have research experience, but like it will help, because when you get to the master, that's all what you'll be doing. Research,
Yeah.
research. So
All right.
yeah.
Also chip in
For sure.
I also feel like if you have the time on your hand, you can also volunteer to work in some organizations, and you definitely have the opportunity to work with research on ground. Then that would be the experience you need.
Yeah.
You really have to do it in school, but you can volunteer and
collect data and stuff.
exactly collect data on the field and all those kind of stuff, and that's your research experience. So it's not it's all dependent on you. You just have to be smart about how you go about it. Just find an organization that is in line with your career goal and all that, and then just work there for 2 or 3 months. Just for your own benefit, even though they'll not pay you, but like it's going to help you at the end of the day. Then you just use that as your experience, and that should be fine.
Yeah, and I also want to chip in the way Ghana is like, if you don't know anyone, you can't get it. But then I can assure you there are so many organizations that are looking for volunteers. Amnesty International, Transparency International, these NGOs, like they are looking for volunteers. They won't pay you. That's the sad part. But at the end of the day, you have your own little something that you can work with.
And they won't say no to you either.
Exactly, because they are looking for people to work with, like volunteers to work with. Yeah.
All right, I understand. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, sorry. Are there other questions? How did they give you your coursework? Is it through LMS? I don't understand the question.
LMS, is that what he said?
Yeah, LMS.
I think every university has like a study portal. So like your courses and everything is on there. Once you get into the university, they'll give you every information about that. So this should not be one of your worries, right? Once you are accepted, you get your email, like your email affiliated to the university. Everything you need to do will just be like sent to you. You have access to the study portal. You see all your courses, your credits, and everything you'll be doing throughout your entire master's. So that should be fine. Yeah.
Like I think Legon is Sakai, and then over here it's Moodle. So like she said,
yeah, it's Moodle too here.
Okay. So the Oasis and Osiris part.
Yeah, I think one of these schools.
I know LMS because when I was in Korea, it was LMS.
I think Sakai is even LMS. Sakai.
Yeah, Sakai LMS. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember now. Yeah. Okay, I think. Wow, Teresa. Okay, kindly unmute and yeah.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session, and thank you all for the insights and the little tips for us to help us in our application for our graduate schools. I also think a little bit that everyone should know is the application process is not free. You have to pay for the applications. That is some schools, in some schools, the application is not free. To get in, the application is not
Okay.
free. Because most of us think you are just applying to the school, there's no application fee. But I think to get into the next level, you have to pay for your application fee for your application to be complete.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Teresa, which university did you apply to that you paid application fee?
Oh, so I'm talking about the US.
No. Oh, okay.
I didn't know like it's different from every other university.
US. So with the Erasmus Mundus, it's not really US, but I think there are some programs that you have to go to countries outside Europe. But for Erasmus Mundus, it's just Europe. And from what I know and my Erasmus friends that I've been talking with, and also I think from Precious and Rhoda, I think that with the Erasmus, you don't really have to pay school, what's it called? Application fee. Yeah, maybe if it's the visa application process, that's where you have to pay for
I also think that if you're applying for a self-funded place,
yeah, if it's self-funded, yes. But if it's scholarship, you don't really have to pay for application fee. It's funded by the scholarship itself. Even if you've not gotten the scholarship, you don't really have to pay.
Yeah, even the
application
visa
fee.
and everything, you don't have to pay if you get a scholarship.
Yeah, yes. I think with the visa, you don't. Yeah, for Austria too. When I went, it was just free, and they just did it for me.
Germany too.
Yeah. Rhoda, was Belgium free?
It was free. You don't have to pay for anything. I think the application process for US is quite different from.
Yeah. So we will hold a different session for like US graduate school, maybe beginning of January, because December is enjoyment month. So yeah. Okay. Mark Jordan wants to know, does Erasmus invest in mentorship programs during the scholarship, or it's just focused on paying school fees and all that? Precious, do you want to go first from experience?
Well, I just started. So, but I know from what I know so far from speaking with people in the program and alumni is that it's not like mentorship straightforward, but then they have connections with these international organizations that during that third semester, it's mandatory to do, you can choose to do year abroad or internship. So you don't go for class, like if you're doing the internship. And then if you want to do the internship, there are like organizations and companies that the EMGS is affiliated to that you can work with. And then through that, you establish your own networks and mentors, like get your own mentors. But there's no like mentorship, even though like sometimes they organize programs for us, to meet with like people. Yeah, but it's not like that. It's like, yeah.
Rhoda?
There's no specific program for mentorship, but however, in the course of doing your thesis, you work under a particular professor or lecturer. So I think that's where you can get your mentorship from, because basically a mentor is somebody you are learning stuff from and you are aspiring to, have some qualities or qualifications as the person has. So as you work directly under these professors or lecturers during your thesis, then I think they are automatically mentoring you, so you get to learn things from there. Yeah, but there's no specific program for mentorship. Yeah,
I think it's the same for us too. There's no specific program for mentorship. You have to, as you are going along, working with professors and other things, you get the opportunity to learn from them. And I think that with Erasmus, when you get the scholarship, in as much as they will help you with, like they have like program coordinators, so you can go to them if you need help, or if you like if you have problems or challenges with other things in the course of your academic work. But they don't really, there's no specific mentorship programs for doing the scholarship. So yeah, it's more like you are not on your own, but you are somehow on your own. Yeah. So I think that's what role does Erasmus play in work after school? I think I'll answer that. The role Erasmus play in work after school. It plays a lot of roles. Like after your master's, it will even help you to, if you want to work in the country which you learned, it will help you to integrate in the country. And it's when you do Erasmus, you get a lot of opportunities in terms of traveling opportunities to meet other people and also learn from the culture and everything. So I think after Erasmus, you can get work if you are determined. Yeah.